Welcome to our spring Augusta Oncology CPAN Chapter Advocacy event. Today we'll talk about clinical trials at Augusta Oncology. I'm Dr. Miriam Atkins. I am the CPAN Medical Co-Chair and I am the Vice President of the Community Oncology Alliance, and I've been with Augusta Oncology for over 20 years.
Hi, I'm Brenda McGarr. I'm a nurse with Augusta Oncology. I'm their Oncology Nurse Navigator, and I'm also the CPAN Chapter Advocacy Leader.
So today's agenda and educational goals, we're going to briefly discuss who is COA and what is CPAN, basically because for some of you this may be your first time tuning in. We'll talk about clinical trials at Augusta Oncology and some advocacy and educational opportunities for this year. So, who is COA and what is CPAN? The Community Oncology Alliance, or COA. Our mission is to ensure that cancer patients receive quality, affordable cancer care in their own community. People don't realize it, but 85% of cancer patients are treated in their local communities. COA advocates nationally and in states for legislation and regulations consistent with this mission. COA's Patient Advocacy Network is COA's Practice and Patient Advocacy Division. It's dedicated to fighting for policies that benefit patients and community oncology clinics. CPAN is different from other cancer advocacy organizations. We advocate for the care exclusively and are non-cancer type specific. We are patients, survivors, caregivers, family members, oncologists, practice administrators, nurses, pharmacists, and basically anyone who cares about cancer and cancer patients. So clinical trials at Augusta Oncology, everyone plays a role. So first I'll briefly talk about every drug that is approved right now started out in a lab as a plant and with the clinical trial. We have different phases. There's phase one, when a medication is first come about, it doesn't have a name, it just has a number, and they're trying to see, does it work? Once they've gone through phase one, they realize through phase one, okay, this medication works on certain cancers. So phase two will have those cancer types. In phase three, it goes on to determine the side effect profile, is it safe, what the doses are, and is it better than the standard of care? So every drug that's approved now started out in a clinical trial. And we try to explain this to patients because many people feel apprehensive or nervous about being on a clinical trial. And I tell every patient of mine, when you're a cancer patient on a clinical trial, you are not a guinea pig. Very, very rarely will you ever be randomized to a placebo in a clinical trial for cancer. So everyone plays a vital role. We have the scientists, the doctors, the nurses, and the most important people in clinical trials are the patients or the participants. So we have an informed consent process. Right now at Augusta Oncology, we have 7 active clinical trials for different cancers, and we have 37 patients currently involved. So what are the clinical trial conversations? There's one way that researchers and doctors think and talk, and there's another way that patients think and talk. So as a researcher and a physician and whoever designs a clinical trial, we're thinking about evidence-based medicine and do these medications work and what are the statistics.
So as the patient, you're going to think, is this treatment safe for me? Should I really be doing this? Yes, it's safe. It wouldn't have gotten to that point in the process if it wasn't. It's already been through a lot of safety measures and different aspects to get it to that point. So yes, it's safe.
From a researcher's point, we're thinking, what are the data points? How does it work? What percentages of patients are responding? What kind of side effects are patients experiencing?
So as a patient, you're going to think, well, is my participation really going to help others? Absolutely it is. Any drugs that are currently available, as Dr. Atkins said, have come through the clinical trial process. So others have gone before you to make those drugs safe and effective. And so yes, absolutely, your participation is vital to help others.
And also, as a researcher, we think, what about data management? If you're on a clinical trial, you'll meet with the research nurses. There's a lot of questions that are asked, a lot of labs that are checked, a lot of data. We want to make sure we check off every single box to make sure the information is correct.
And again, as the patient, you're going to think, can I really trust these experts and researchers? Do I know who they are? Well, you may not know them personally, but yes, you can trust them. Again, all your questions will be answered. You are given the opportunity to ask as many questions as you'd like. You can always do individual research as well to further delve into those people and the experts and the researchers and what's going on with them.
And one other good thing about having clinical trials in the local community oncology practices, once again, can I trust these experts and researchers? Well, if it's your doctor putting you on the clinical trial, you already know the physician.
Good point.
You trust them, you can speak to them, and they know they understand your needs.
Absolutely, good point.
So the Clinical Trial Treatment Act, this is something that COA is behind. This is a bill which requires state Medicaid programs to cover routine patient costs for items and services that are provided in connection with qualifying clinical trial regarding cancer and other life-threatening conditions. It was signed into law on December 27, 2020 as part of the H.R. 133 Consolidated Appropriations Act 2020. This is great because people don't understand in the past, patients who were on Medicaid were not allowed to participate in clinical trials. So how can we truly get a good, vast example of patients if we can't get everyone on a clinical trial? So some other quick facts: this bill was first introduced in 2019. It was sponsored by senators on the Republican and Democratic side. It went through the Senate House Committee and it had several sponsors. So this is a great bill.
So you've heard about CPAN, you've heard about COA, but how can you get involved? Well, we have educational opportunities every month. We do a monthly meeting the second Wednesday of the month. It's always virtual, so it's easy for you to be involved with that. You can do that from your own home. So please, if you've not already registered with CPAN, please do that through their website so that you get that information and get involved in that. They're always great learning opportunities for you, so we want you to do that on a monthly basis. As well, we have a National Advocacy Summit coming up on July 21st. It will be an incredible event. Again, it's virtual this year. Hopefully that'll change back to being in person as well as virtual in 2022, but for 2021, we're still looking at a virtual platform. So again, please register with CPAN so you get all this information and can be involved in all these events.
Brenda, I do believe that summit is free, is that correct?
It absolutely is free.
Can't be free.
Can't be free. And in your own home, in your pajamas, with your coffee. So another way to stay engaged with CPAN, like we've said over and over, I'm going to say it again, please sign up. Get the CPAN newsletter, get registered on their website, visit their website frequently. They do very well at keeping up with changes and adding information to that. One of my favorite features is share your story. So patient, advocate, caregiver, friend of a caregiver, whatever, please get on there and share your story. You never know how what you've been through will inspire and help someone else in their journey. And again, you can always follow us on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Tweeter, YouTube, MyTube, all that good stuff. So share your story. That's the next slide on here, as you're going to see on your screen. It really does help others. You may think that your story really doesn't matter, but you never know that one person you may touch because of what you've been through. You want to help someone else. The Augusta chapter. So we started in March of 2015, so we are a little over 6 years old now. We are very thankful for that and proud of who we are, what we've been able to do even through the pandemic. Cancer didn't stop during the pandemic, and neither did we. So we still have been able to advocate on Capitol Hill. We haven't been able to go to DC like we used to, but we're still able to write letters and communicate with our senators and congressmen and representatives up there. I believe you've been recently, haven't you, back to DC?
Not yet. We had a virtual meeting. I'm going to be in DC with COA in June.
Okay, so yes, that's coming up. So we are getting our presence back known on Capitol Hill. Again, the national conference, which will be virtual, we'll have the one-day summit in July. We want you to get involved with that. We do things here on the local level, currently virtual. We're hoping to get the in-person support group started back up by August or September, so stay tuned for information on that. So thank you again for joining us and for being a part of our CPAN COA Advocacy Chat, and we'll see you again next month.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thanks.